Hello, everybody. It is that time again. It is Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Yay, and I'm happy to be here. So we're going to just see if anybody joins on today. Hopefully we'll get a couple of people come on. So I'm just going to kind of wait a minute, get a little organized, kind of messing with the lighting today because it's really raining right now. I just looked out of the windows and the wind's just whoosh, whoosh, and I was like, whoa, when did that come? It was just sunny and beautiful a second ago. So the lighting might be a little weird, but hopefully we'll have somebody jump on. And if not, no big deal. I'm just going to roll with it anyways. I like to have people come on because we can kind of go back and forth. I love to hear what people have to say. It is now just 3 o'clock. So we'll see what happens. So like I said, if you are not watching this live and you are watching this on replay, please give me hashtag replay or something, because that just lets me know that people are watching it. Okay, so today, well, actually, before I get started, as we're waiting to see if anybody comes on, I'm just going to kind of plug a couple of things that we have coming up for this week, the rest of this week, and this weekend. So if you guys haven't signed up for Kim Aldis' class, she's doing an intro class. It's this Saturday. Please go to scheduleosity.com and make sure that you register. It's going to be an amazing class. She's going to be talking about Vedic healing, and so if you can join her, you will not want to miss it. You just won't, because it's amazing. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, which is Thursday, Teresa and I have our Mind Vibe radio show on Blog Talk Radio. And that is an online radio, so you would have to go to that, or you can click all our links that we'll give you as well. Okay, and then, tomorrow night at 7:30, Melissa and I will be doing our meditation retreat. So our Soul Awakening meditation retreat. This is an amazing, amazing evening because we do meditation, we do motivation, we have live music, we do mantra songs and singing, we do healings, and we have a special treat. So anybody that is interested, we will actually be doing messages from spirit. So when you when we bring you back out of meditation, you will have a message from spirit sitting next to you. That's kind of exciting. And anybody that doesn't want that, they don't have to do that. It's only the people that want that. Then I will go ahead and channel in a message for them and have it written for them through my automatic writing. And then you guys get a little prize. So that's kind of exciting. Yes, yes, yes. So today I want to dive in and I want to talk about vulnerability. Excuse me. Let me get a drink here because I have incense going, and obviously I just inhaled some of the smoke. So anyways, let me get a drink here. I want to talk about vulnerability. Okay, vulnerability. It's a big thing. It's a big word, vulnerability. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability sometimes is a very, hi, Kimberly. Yay. Let me know that you guys are here. We're going to be talking about vulnerability today. Yay. Okay. So like I was saying, it's a big word. It's a scary word for some people. It was for me. And I'm going to talk a little bit about experience for myself, because it was a very big, scary word for me, because vulnerability, most people think it's weak. I did. I thought being vulnerable, I thought that meant that I was weak. And it's actually the opposite of what vulnerability was. But for many, many years, I was just crippled by the word because I thought, oh my gosh, I can't be vulnerable. Because if I'm vulnerable, yay, thank you, purple hearts, woo, woo. Because if I'm vulnerable, then that makes me weak. It took me years and years and years to realize that that is not the case at all. It actually is, it's about being free. It is. It's about being free. It's about knowing what your worth is. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, that's always been a struggle for me, is knowing what my worth was. I see everybody else's worth. I see everybody else's potential, but I never really seen mine. And I never really wanted to see it because I always thought that meant that, oh God, you're just so egotistical, blah, blah, blah. That's not it at all. Not even close. So with all my years of training and certifications and just living my life the way that I need to live it and want to live it, is I learned so much about being vulnerable and what it really means. And so one of the things, it's courage. It is so much courage to be vulnerable. And like I said earlier, like when I first found STEM, I thought vulnerability was being weak. And it is the opposite. It's about being full of courage. It's about being able to, hi Jenny, hey, everyone's bouncing out, woo woo, yay. Welcome. We're talking about vulnerability and the powerfulness of vulnerability. And I was saying earlier that I thought it was being weak. It was being, it made me like a prey. Like if somebody's seen that I was vulnerable, they were gonna on me. And no, that's not what it is at all. It's when you're able to open up yourself and really know what your worth is. And I was saying earlier too, that was very difficult for me to know what my worth was. I still have struggled with that sometimes, because to know what my worth is. And I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us don't really know what our worth is. And let's go a little bit deeper though, because not only vulnerability, that's like the driver, right? So vulnerability is the driver. So guess what rides shotgun with vulnerability? Shame. It does. It's crazy that you would think they would go hand in hand, but they really do. Because what is shame? What is shame? Shame is like that little gremlin that just talks to you all the time. It's like your alter ego, and it just talks to you all the time, and it attacks you. No, you can't do that. No, you're not worthy. No, 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 no. That's what shame is. And shame, here's vulnerability, shotgun, here's shame. So when you're working with vulnerability, you kind of got to work with shame as well. So those words were always so scary to me. I'm just seeing who's here. Hi. Those words were scary to me. What about you guys? What do you think of the word vulnerability? Do you have a different opinion on it, or a different definition of it? Did it ever make you guys think that it was weak to be vulnerable, or did you know that it was about being courage? Do you have a situation? I like to interact with people, so feel free to just kind of like tell me what your thoughts and comments are as we're doing this, because it was like an awakening for me, and is to really realize that being vulnerable is powerful. I mean, it is powerful. And you think, how is that powerful? Because when you're vulnerable, you're literally here I am, I'm raw. But what's more powerful than that? Because you learn to have control. You're able to have control over you. You're able to have control over your feelings. You're able to have control over, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want in your life? And that's being vulnerable. And that is beautiful. And I used to just think it was not. I mean, I was like, ugh, and there were so many times that I was ripped open raw, and I felt so vulnerable, but because I had the wrong definition of it, and because I thought it was like a shameful thing, and I thought it was like a weak thing, I didn't face it. I ran from it. What about you guys? Have any of you run from it? I'm just going to see if there's any comments. Hello, Kelly. Hello, everybody. Weakness. Yes, it's crazy. Vulnerability to me is being open and weak. So I come to terms with vulnerability and being open book. Very awesome, Erin. Yes, that's so true. Being that open book, grabbing that power, holding on to that courage, being vulnerable, and even being able to come out and do these kind of Facebook Lives. This is a huge thing for me to do this. I'm always in the background, like I'm always in my little sacred revive place and doing my thing. And for me to come out here, I mean, there's a vulnerability about that. At first I'm like, oh, what if I don't sound like I know what I'm talking about? Or what if people won't even come on? And then I thought, you know what? No, this is what I love. This is who I am. And I'm going to bounce in, and I want to help as many people as I can, because I didn't have the help. Like some of these things that are so present right now, some of these things these topics are so huge. Nobody really had the help or really knew where to find it or seek it, So like, in my age, I mean, my parents were so instrumental to me and still are. And it was just like, they taught me so much, but there are some things that as you live and as you get older and as you evolve in life, there's some things that you're just like, what is this? And how is this? And oh my gosh. And you got all these feelings, right? And you don't know what to do with them. And so that's why I love coming on and doing these things. And that can be very vulnerable. But to me, it's like I'm opening myself up and I'm making myself raw. And I'm smiling about it. Normally I'd be like, but I've grown so much because of it, because I really realized what vulnerability is. And it's to have the courage to know what your worth is. It's to have the courage not to be afraid. It's to have the courage to be free and to do what you want to do and be who and what you need to be. And there's so many people that I work with or know that have trouble stepping in and taking that leap. And I was one of them. It took me many, many years and many, going in and doing what I do at Revive is I work with people on a daily basis. And I we do the mindset coaching, we do the life coaching. But when I went and got all my training, it saved me. Like it saved me because I learned so much about me. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is huge. And that it was able for me to understand. And that's what I love. I love that I'm learning. I learn every day. And the day that you say that you're done learning, you better sign up for something, because there is never going to be a day that you can't learn something. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I do. I mean, I was always taught from my family too. Education, education, education. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And so I thrive on learning new things. I thrive on being able to push my limits. And not everybody's like that, and that's okay. But that's just how I run. But I just love the word vulnerability now. Before, I was scared to death of it. Before, you wouldn't even hear it come out of my mouth because I thought it made me weak. And I realize that it makes me strong. Let me see here. Oops. My computer's doing something janky. Because like I said last week, it is definitely on its way out. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Mwah. Hey, Ken. He's going to critique me later, aren't you? Anyways, back on track. So vulnerability, create, innovation, and change. Now, those are also three really scary words for some people. Create the life that you want. Create what you want in your life. It's you. It's up to you. You're the one that's in our own way. You hear me say that on all these videos. And if you come and see me at Revive, you hear me say that. Get out of your way. Step aside, people, because we are in our own way all the time. Hello, me too. I can preach it, but it's still true. Sometimes I get in my own way and I have to check myself and move out so I can create. Being vulnerable is creating the worth that you're worth, creating the life that you want. It's out there, people. Go get it. What are you waiting for? Right? I used to wait and wait. No, tired of waiting. I want to go. I want to live. I want to have a good time. I want to be me. I want to do what I need to do. And that's what you guys can do too. So that's another thing about being vulnerable is create. The next one is innovation. Create, do what you want, invent, be anything you need and want to be. Let your soul come through. And you might not know where to start, and that's okay. But just acknowledging, like, I know there's something more. We talked about this in Spiritual Awakening. I know there's something more. So go find it. Talk to people about it. Don't be afraid. Jump out of that box. That box is so small and so suffocating. Whew. Open it up. Step out. 1 foot at a time if you have to. But run, people, run with it, because it can be so enlightening. It can be so exciting when you do that. The other thing is change. You hear so many people say, I'm afraid of change. I love change. That one thing I've never had a problem with, but it can be very scary, and that can make you very vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, you feel raw, right? Yes. A lot of you have saying you felt weak. Let's retrain our brain. It's not about being weak. It's about having the courage. It's about the power behind you. It's incredible. Once you realize what vulnerability really is and what the true meaning really is, you will have a whole different outlook. I'm here to tell you, I can preach this because I live it. I swear to you, anyone that knows me knows I'm living what I talk, because it's true. When you realize what the real meaning is, it is definitely courage. Courage to walk out that door every morning. Courage to pick up the phone and call and do something. It could be something little. It could be ordering something. It could be, signing a contract for something huge that you've waited a long time for. It could be whatever it is. It's the courage of taking that step. And it can be so scary. It can be very scary. But what's more exciting? Like, I get scared. Who doesn't? But I get excited about scary too, because that means I'm growing. It means that I'm having that, here I go. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. Anything else? Let me see. Anyone else writing anything? Comment. Erin. Oh, Erin, thank you. Mwah. I'm glad you're relating to all this. And that's what I love too. Let me know if you guys are relating to this. It helps me keep going. It helps me know that I'm on the right track. So like, what else? Like today, I don't know if any of you are my friends on my personal page for Facebook, but today, one of the things is I wrote today is, there is no universe where I don't show up. Do you guys know what I meant by that? Because I'll explain it. I believe that wholeheartedly. Every day, there isn't a day that I don't show up. Whether it's at Revive or whether it's wherever I'm supposed to be. It's what I mean by that is there isn't a day that I just don't show up in life. So it might not be all roses, but I show up and I'm present. And I make the best of everything that I can possibly make. And some people will be like, no, you don't. No, I really do. Because like I said earlier, life is pretty short. And I don't want to have all these, like, I wish I would have did this, and I wish I would have did that. And it would have been nice if we could have did that. Well, I try to find ways to make that happen. I show up. And that's another thing that you can do for yourself. Just be present. Just show up every day. I heard something. I don't remember where I heard it. It might come to me. But we are responsible for the energy that we put into the room. Think about that for a minute. We're responsible for the energy that we put into a room. Do you know what I mean by that? When you walk into a space, it can be your home, it can be work, it could be a store, it could be wherever you walk into or you're at. And your attitude and your energy creates so much. And we're responsible for that. And I can't remember where I heard that. I think his name was Tom or Ted, or I don't know, but I heard it. And I was like, whoa, that's huge, because it's true. When we walk into a room, we own it. We are responsible for our energy. If we come in and we're like, rah, and we're nasty, or we're in a bad mood, or we're just like, dun, 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 it brings everything down. And how can you be present at that moment? How can you show up? Life is amazing if you just let it be. If you just let yourself be a little vulnerable, open up that heart, open up yourself. And let me tell you, that was like I said earlier, that was really hard for me because there's been so much in my life where I've been so guarded like this. Like I just wanted to be in the background, and I didn't want people to get close to me for reasons that don't matter now, but I just didn't want people close to me. And so the more that I opened up and the more that I awakened, because that's literally a spiritual awakening, I had to let things down. And I had to open up my heart, and I had to make myself be vulnerable, and I had to be raw. And it can be really uncomfortable. But the good thing about being uncomfortable is I knew that I was going to grow then. And I knew that there was possible growth for me. And I felt, okay, so I was scared of the word vulnerability. I really didn't know what it meant. I thought it meant that you were weak, but it's not. Like I said, if you're just joining on, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know. Send me some purple hearts or hey, hi. But it's really about showing up, having the courage, and being your worth. And being worthy is really hard. And also knowing that shame, because like I said earlier, if you guys missed it, vulnerability is the driver, right? Who is the shotgun? Shame. And do you guys know what shame is? Shame, really what it is? Shame is when we attack ourselves. It focuses on ourselves. It's not guilt. Now, guilt and shame are two different things. Okay, so I want to get that, clear that up. Guilt is when we feel bad for someone else. So say you did something to someone else and you're like, oh, I'm really sorry that I did that to you. Okay, that's guilt. But shame is when it's ourselves. Can you say sorry to yourself? Can you forgive yourself? It's all about self-attacking. So that's when I talk about shame, that's what I'm talking about. So vulnerability, shame, they go hand in hand. Do any of you have any incidences? Do any of you have any, thing you want to comment on that? Did you guys know that they go hand in hand? Hey, Judy. Hello, hello. Yes. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So vulnerability and shame, they go hand in hand. Two very powerful words. Two very scary, scary words. It used to be to me anyways, maybe not to you guys, but to me, it was those two words. You didn't hear me talk about them ever because I thought it made me feel weak. I thought once, if you're just joining on, thank you for joining again. I thought it was basically, if I was vulnerable, I was toast, people were going to or situations were going to, and I didn't want that. I became very guarded. I became very untrusting. I just wanted to be in my little bubble, and I just didn't want to. But then as I grew, basically, and learned new things and got the training that I do, and I learned so much of how wrong I was, and how that being vulnerable is not a weakness. It's so powerful. It's very powerful. Knowing what shame really is and being able to identify when shame is knocking at your door or talking to you nonstop, that is a game changer, because it really makes you realize that there's so much more to you that you're not giving the worth for. Being vulnerable is knowing what your worth is. And that was hard for me as well. I still struggle with that. I'm not going to lie. I do know what our worth is. We all have a lot of worth, but do we really know what we're worth? I see everybody else's worth. Everybody's. I see their potential. I fall in love with their potential. I see it. But when I look at me, it takes me a minute to be like, oh yeah, well, yeah, I can. Yeah, I do that too. It's just, it's an ongoing, it's something I will always have to do it, every single day, work on it. But that's what it is. Another thing with vulnerability, if you're just joining on, is create, innovation, and change. Again, 3 scary words, right? It's just, those are very scary, but so powerful. When you realize what your worth is, when you realize that being vulnerable is being encouraged, it's so freeing. All of a sudden, it's like this weight goes, floop, bye-bye. Like all of a sudden, you just feel free. You don't feel like, oh, like I did. I was like, oh, I don't do that anymore. That's why I'm here today. Hello. I'm not afraid to be on camera. I'm not afraid to say and help with everything that I've learned. I'm not afraid of that. And if you're just joining on up too, I was talking about showing up, being present. Show up every day, whatever that is, showing up at work and the energy that we have. Let me see if I'm missing anybody. Okay, I love this, Kimberly. I always felt bad putting myself first when it comes to health and happiness. Yes, we always do that, right? We always put everything else first, first, but ourselves. And I talked about this in one of my videos, or maybe it was one of my talk show radio. I can't remember. They're kind of floating in, but one of the things that we forget is sometimes when we take care of ourselves, a lot of times, like I always felt like it was selfish, like I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm being so self-centered. I'm being so selfish. No. That was another thing I learned. It's self-care. That's huge. Self-care. I remember years ago, and it was probably at least 8-9 years ago. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. But anyways, I was talking to somebody and I was telling somebody that I'm going to run. I'm going to start doing this running thing, this running group, and I'm going to do this thing and blah, blah, blah. And they looked at me and said, isn't that kind of selfish that you're going to spend all that time away from what you could be doing running? And I was like, oh, maybe it is. And I thought, well, no, it's not. It's self-care because I'm taking time for myself. I'm bettering my body. I'm bettering me. And it was then that I realized that I always let myself or other people make me feel like you shouldn't take care of yourself. But if you don't take care of yourself, right, how are you going to take care of your family? How are you going to be there for your family? So that was another lesson, and it was a very difficult one for me. And some days I still struggle with it. Like, I'm being completely honest with you guys. But I've learned a lot that if I don't take care of myself, I can't be present for my clients or my family or even myself. I can't be fresh. And so that's another thing about, the vulnerability is realizing that, being your true potential, being the true person that you're supposed to be, being authentic. That's huge to me, being authentic. I mean, I literally am who I am. What you see is what you get. This is the way it is. And so it took me a long time to be able to show people that, though. It took me a very long time to be like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. And I was always afraid, but I'm not afraid anymore. I became vulnerable. That word again, I became vulnerable. And I had the courage to say, guess what? I see dead people. I talk to them. I see colors. I see things. I know things. That's huge. That was a huge thing to be able to come out and say and do, and just did it just now. I became vulnerable. And how powerful is that? I mean, just saying that, knowing that I just said it again, when so many years I hid it, so many years I was afraid to tell people that I knew stuff. I knew what everybody was thinking about me. It's kind of not fun some days, but I did, and now it's just like, it's so freeing to be able just to say it. Being vulnerable is so powerful. It's just embracing it and accepting it and knowing that it is not a weakness. And it's not. You know, it's funny because I was watching something, and I think I was watching Brene Brown. I don't know. Teresa and I, we watch and listen to her stuff. If you guys don't know who she is, Brene Brown, she's amazing. She's you guys should check her out. I think she just got a Netflix show, but she's very motivational. She's a researcher, but she's also very spiritual, and she's done a lot of research just on the subject alone, on shame and all these kind of things. But I resonate with her. Like I just so resonate with her. But she was saying something that she was doing. I think she was doing a talk. She talks all over the place. And they were doing a sign language thing. And so this really stuck with me. And this has been a while, so give me a minute to remember what it was. But she was talking to, it was about sign language. She said, I want to talk about vulnerability. So what is the sign for vulnerability? And it was like this, like your knees, weak at the knees. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but see if, I can't do this. It was like weak at the knees. So these are your knees, and it was the weak at the knees. And that was the sign language for vulnerability. And she was like, whoa. Is that the only one? Because when I talk about vulnerability, it's not about being weak. It's about being powerful. It's about being courage. And then they came back and said, well, there's two signs for it. The weak one is the knees, and the other one was this. And it was like, and she's like, yes, that's the one I want you to use, because you're walking in, like you're opening up your heart, you're coming into your own, you're bringing out that courage. And so I remembered that, and it stuck with me for all this time, because that's exactly what we all think vulnerability is. Weak at the knees. It's not. It's like this, people. I mean, there are days when I'll just do this. Woo, here I come. Hear me roar, right? Because I do. It's like, it's so powerful just to even do this movement. Do this movement. Try it. If you're at home and you're not driving, hopefully you're not driving, do it. Come out. Whoa. So, okay, Jenny, I watched her on Netflix. She is great, isn't she? I know. I haven't seen her Netflix yet. I need to really get on. I need to do that. I need to make the time to do that. But I love her. Like, I just really resonate with her. She's amazing. Anybody else have any other comments or anything? Is this resonating with you guys? Please let me know. I want to make sure I'm on the right track, because it's important that I am. So another thing I kind of want to go through, if all of you are okay with that, I have all these notes everywhere, because, I get going and I don't want to forget anything. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay. I wrote this down the other day because I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about today, because I don't know if you guys watched me last week, but I kind of left it. It was literally 50-50. I said we could either talk about vulnerability or we could talk about afterlife. And it literally was like 50-50. So Emily, that works she's one of my massage therapists, and she's awesome, by the way. They all are, but Emily's on Mondays and Fridays, but she does massage therapy, but she flipped a thing for me, and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. Like, it's literally 50-50. So I let her decide, and vulnerability was it. So I started like really, thinking about it and just kind of writing down my notes and everything. And what I realized, and I've heard this too, is when you ask people about love, have you ever noticed that they talk about their heartbreak first? True. I mean, I work with a lot of people, and so it made me think about, I was thinking about love. Let's talk about something to do with love. I thought, you know what? It's always like the heartache or the heartbreak. That's what they bring up first. And then they'll, maybe some positive after that. Or the other thing that I noticed is, and I'm guilty of this. I am. So I'm calling myself out. Here we go. When you ask about belonging, I said this, I'm going to lead into what belonging is, okay? When you ask about belonging, How many people go right into saying where they've been excluded, where they've been like maybe removed from a group, or maybe they just weren't accepted as a person or whatever. I've been guilty of that from my past. I have, because it's something that has hurt you. It's in you. It's a memory that you remembered, and that's one of the biggest things is, okay, I don't really have a group. I don't have a tribe. I don't really belong anywhere. But one thing that I've learned, and all that I've learned in life, is find your true belonging is nowhere. It's where you belong with yourself. I'm going to say that again because I kind of didn't say it as smooth as I wanted to. To find your true belonging, it's really to belong nowhere, and it's to belong with yourself. So if you feel like you don't belong anywhere, you're not going to belong anywhere. So if you feel like you can just stand on your own and you can belong with yourself, you're going to be amazed how big your circle gets. You're going to be amazed how all of a sudden you're going to get all these different invites. Here, come here, because you've got to belong with one person, and that's yourself. And a lot of times we throw out these energies that we don't even know we're throwing out. And I'm guilty of it, of that you don't belong anywhere. You feel like you don't belong. You feel like you're not part of that group. You feel like nobody would want you in this group. So one of the things that I've learned, I can't tell you over and over and over, is to find your true belonging, it's with you. So there really is nowhere to belong but right here with you. And some people can say, gosh, that's so lonely. No, it isn't. Because when you become vulnerable and you understand what shame is, and you know that you're very powerful as a person, no matter who or what you do or are, when you know that you have courage, but the biggest one is when you know what your worth is, it's not so lonely. Because you have come into your own. You have stepped into your own person. And how many years do we try to find out, who are we? What are we? What's my passion? I need to. How many times do you say that to yourself? There's something better out there. There's something better than this. When you find it, you're content. When you find it, you're like, oh, okay. I think I get it now. So I like to throw these little things at you guys, because these are things that I have learned, and it's just been like, whoa, and it's so exciting, because then all of a sudden, all these thoughts and all these beliefs and all these things that you had, all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay. All right. And then all of a sudden you start seeing things clear. You start living differently. You're where you don't belong, all of a sudden is, and now you're like, wow, I had no idea. It's so amazing. I hope that some of you guys can relate to this. And let me see, I feel like I'm missing more people. Thank you. Is resonating. Nice to develop. Belonging to yourself is brilliant. Yes, it is. It's so incredible when you realize that you belong to yourself. It changes everything. It changes everything. And like I said earlier, like, I'm calling myself out. I was one of those when you would say, where do you belong? And I'd be like, I don't. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to go eat worms. No, I'm just kidding. You guys know that song? My aunt used to sing that to us all the time. But no, I was one that just always felt excluded. I just felt like people didn't get me, but that was my fault. I didn't let them, that was my choice. And I didn't even realize it. Like, I was so guarded, You know, I was so worried, like if people, you know, found out that, you know, I know things, and I was so worried they weren't going to want me around anyways. So I was putting off this energy of like, I didn't even know I was doing that, you know? So I learned a lot, you know, and that's why it's so incredible. Like it just blew my mind, literally blew my mind, because of all these things, all these beliefs that I had, like vulnerability is weak, you know, you shouldn't, you know, shame is this, and, you know, there's no courage in all that. It's complete opposite. And like when Renee, or Brene, I say Renee, I have a sister, Brene Brown, when she talks, and when this, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, Tom, I can't pronounce his last name anyways, Tom with a B, when they talk, when you resonate with a motivational speaker, when you resonate with somebody that has all this knowledge, and you learn, and you go to these classes, and like I said earlier, if you didn't hear me earlier, knowledge is power. The day that you feel like you don't need to learn something is the day you need to get on the ball and sign up for a class, because knowledge is power. Knowledge, you can always learn something. I'm constantly learning things on a daily basis, and I love it. I love it. I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about people around me. I'm learning new things to help with the work that I do. And I just think it's so important. And so that's why I'm always trying to seek out all these gurus, if you will, because they get it. They've lived it. They've researched it. They know it. And it resonates. And it may not resonate with you, and that's okay. Find something that does. Just find something that does. Because I'm telling you, it will definitely change your life. It's changed mine. It's changed my life for myself. It's changed my life for my family, I feel. I don't know what they would say, but I'm just saying. Let's see, everything. Yes, Jenny, yes. Everything does come within. That's one of the reasons I love meditation so much, is because just sitting there, all the answers are like right here. But we're so busy with our blah, 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 everyday life that we don't see them, we don't hear them, we don't feel them. So one of the reasons why I love meditating is because it's right here. All the answers are within us. It's just taking the time to listen to them and trust that you're getting the information, trust the information that you're getting, and then go from there. But I tell all my students, you have to trust. If you have any doubt in there, that is your mind. If it's instant, if you get an instant thought, an instant feeling, I mean seconds, trust it. That is your guides just talking to you. That's your gut just screaming at you. That's your inner knowing. Listen to it. Trust. That's gonna be somewhere all over, because I say that 100 times a day. Trust. Which is so funny. I have to bring this up real quick, which is kind of funny, because in the past, one of the things was when somebody would say, oh, trust me, I'd be like, when someone tells me to trust them, I don't. That's how I just never trusted anybody, and how much I've grown. So now I'm just like, trust. You know, it's kind of funny. Anyways, any comments, any questions? You guys, I love questions. I love questions. I want to kind of go through, I think I have 10 here. Sorry about that. 10. Yes. 10 things that I really believe in, and I live by them. And I kind of would like to share them, because some of my students and clients and everything, they always say, can you kind of share with us, you know, some of the things? I'm like, yeah, if you want to hear it, absolutely. Some of these I've got from myself. Some I've just collected them throughout the years. You know how you hear things, or, you know, something resonates with you. And so these are 10 things I've got from different people or myself, whatever. So, okay, perfection. Let's talk about perfection. Teresa always says, what does she say? She's a recovering perfectionist. I love that. Every time she says that, I tell her how much I love it. Hi, Teresa. Just okay. So anyways, don't be a perfectionist. You know what I think of perfectionist? There's difference. There's something about wanting things good and blah, 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 blah. But when you're like a wholehearted perfectionist, it's 20 tons. It's a 20-ton shield of keeping you from hurt. Think about that. 20-ton shield of keeping you from hurt. That's huge. You know what I mean? Think about that. The other one is, we talked about this one already, is just talking about finding your belonging, your true belonging. I'm going to say it again because I think it's very, very powerful. You belong every place. You belong where you are. So trying to find your true belonging is nowhere. It's where you are. It's you. So we kind of already hit that. The other one I love is braving the wilderness, being alive, go for things. You know, like when you're outside, you're just like, like, or if you're in the wilderness or you're doing something and there's no fear there, you're kind of like a risk taker sometimes. Be a risk taker. Live. Just live. Life is short. So if there's something you want, don't wait. Grab it. Go for it. Figure out how you can do it. If you can't financially do it, figure it out. Get these little jars of coins. That's what I do. I have jars of coins everywhere. This is for this. This is for this. This is for this. But I make sure I make it happen. I'm really big on doing visuals because I'm a visual person. You may not be, but I am. And so this works for me. But I like to visualize things. So I will either, I'll either make like a board, a vision board. I'll do one on my phone. I constantly have on my phone. So every time I flip it on, it's bam, it's right there. It's just works for me. It's like, okay, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to get it. And I'm going for it, so live. Pretend you're in the wilderness and you're just living life, This is a huge one for me, is being authentic. We'll probably do a whole section on that by itself. Being authentic. Let people see you. Just let them see you. They don't have to love you, but let them see you. This is something that I've worked on this for a long time. And like I said earlier, if you missed it, what you see is what you get. And I've always really much been that way. I remember a few years back, I was called surface and not authentic. And that could be two of the farthest things of who I am. But I let them get in my head. And it messed with me. And it took me a while to realize that I always was being authentic and I wasn't surface. And so I will, it's huge for me. So being authentic. And maybe you don't know what that is. It's kind of interesting to find out what it is. But basically what it is let people see you, who you are. Let them see you. You're a beautiful, powerful person. Everybody has beautiful gifts. Everybody has beautiful things about them. So why hide? Be who you're supposed to be. And just be you. Because it's a beautiful thing. And if somebody doesn't like it, sorry. This is who I am. And that's who you are. It's a respect. I respect you for who you are. You respect me for who I am. And we go on our merry way. But be authentic. That's huge for me. Again, embracing the vulnerability. It's courage. It's courage. Showing up and being who you are. That's vulnerable. Just show up and be who you are. What else do I like to live? Set boundaries. I'm huge on boundaries. Everybody knows I'm huge on boundaries. Took me a long time to do that because I never wanted to upset people. I always wanted to be, you know what I mean? Boundaries are huge. What's okay with you and what is not okay with you. And that is huge because in order for you to be your authentic self or for you to be vulnerable or for you to, carry on in life, sometimes we have to set those boundaries. And it's not being mean. It's actually being self-care as well. Because if this is not okay with you, you need to say it. If this is okay with you, you need to say it. It's very, very important. And get rid of the negativity. I said earlier, you know, when you walk in, you're responsible for the energy that you put into a room. So if you're negative, you're throwing your negativity on everybody else. You know, if you're happy and you're positive, you're throwing it on everybody else. So I live by that. It's very difficult. Like I'm very, like people at Revive will tell you, like, I don't want that in here. Revive is a very uplifting, great place, you know, leave it at the door, you know, so just, you are responsible for the energy you put into the room. Just remember that. It's important, and it makes a difference on how people treat you and how people want to be around you. And if you're looking for, you know, a place to be, check you first. I mean, it seems kind of harsh, but check you first. And don't armor up. That's another one. Don't armor up. Now, there's a difference if you're empathic and you need to shield and bubble and, you know, protect yourself from other. But what I mean is, don't put that, you know, 20-ton armor on that people can't get through, you know, that people are just like, guilty. I'm calling myself out again. Guilty. I was one of those people. I was so armored up because I didn't want people to get to me. I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want people to get close to me. So I learned, and I've become much more successful by taking the armor off and being who I'm supposed to be. So that one, believe in your self-worth. That's another one. Huge. Still, that was hard for me too, but I work on it every day and I get it now, you know, and that's part of being vulnerable. You know, that's part of that, is knowing what your worth is. And we all have beautiful worth. It's just owning it and living it and realizing it, believing in it. And the last one, like I said, I've said this a couple of times, show up. Just show up every day. Be brave and just show up. So that is what I have on vulnerability. So what do you guys think? Hi, Mom. Hi, Debbie. Referred to us already know common knowledge, but we remind a very informative, motivating. Thank you. Mwah. You're welcome. Yay! I'm so glad you guys came. Let me know. Did this help you? Because I want to help. I want to know what you guys feel. I want to know what you guys think. If there's anything you guys want me to touch on more, I love questions. Also, is there something you want me to talk about? Because I love being here every week. Oh, that's the other thing. Is the time okay? Do you want me to change the time? I'm cool with that too. So like I said, I really just want to be able to be here for you guys because I love doing this. I have fun with it. It's fun for me. I'm literally being vulnerable, stepping into my courage and giving you some of the worth that I've learned for many years of what I do and this is the stuff I do at Revive. You know, I mean, I do a lot of different stuff at Revive, but this is some of the stuff I do there too. So it's not just, you know, one thing that I do there. Like I do readings there, and I also do mediumship, and I do, you know, I do my beauty stuff. I will always do that too. But I do all my energy healing and meditations and all that fun stuff. So we do so much more. And that's why I love to come on here, because we do classes and events too. But sometimes not everybody can come to those. So that's why I like to come on here too. So you guys are still learning if you want to learn. So I was thinking next week, let me see if there's any questions. Some just popped up. Thank you, Debbie. Okay. My deal of giving myself too much. So I would love to hear what you have to say about that. What's that? My deal is giving of myself too much. Yes. Yes, that's another thing. Giving of yourself too much. That's the boundaries I was talking about. Set your boundaries, because if you're constantly giving, and it's just wearing you down, or you're just like, you're done with it, you're just feeling not appreciated, set the boundaries. Yes, no. that was a big thing for me, is setting boundaries, because I'm always a yes, ma'am. I don't like to say no to anybody. And so that was a really good lesson for me, is like, I'm really sorry, but I'm tapped. I really can't do it. So set those boundaries. That really does help. Try it. Let me know how you do. Let me know how you do with that. So I was thinking for next week, unless you guys have a suggestion, I have in this cute little, I don't know if you can see it. Isn't that cute? Cute. Spring. Cute. I have this cute little bag. I think I have about 15 different topics that we could talk about. You know how I am. If you see me last week, I just like randomly opened up a book and I just think it's kind of cool and fun. It's fun for me. It keeps it fresh. Kind of like let's just see what we're going to talk about. So unless you guys have a suggestion, and do give me them, because I will add them to the bag. Isn't this fun? Hope it's a good one. I forgot what I wrote. I just keep throwing stuff in there, like ideas that come to me. Oh, I got okay, what are we going to talk about next week? Oh, this is a good one. Ways to be successful. Can you say? Well, I say ways to success. I don't know. Can you see that? My lighting's really janky. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, it says ways to success. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so we're going to talk about that next week. Now, ways for success. That could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about career. It could be about family. It could be about personal growth. I mean, that's when I think of success, that's what I think of. I mean, I think of everything. It's like a lot of stuff. So if you have any comments on that, let me know. Any suggestions on that, let me know. But definitely, this is going to be a good one. Oh, I got tons of stuff on this. Oh, we might need longer than an hour. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, thank you everybody so much for popping on. I hope this really helped you guys. I love doing this, like I said. And remember, be vulnerable. Get out there, people, and be powerful. Be vulnerable and grab it, own it, and be yourself. You guys have so much worth. Show it. Just show up every day and let everybody see the beautiful person that you are, because you are. Every single person is beautiful. Every single person has so many different amazing qualities about them, and you just have to believe that you have them. Trust yourself, know who you are, and show the world. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. This has been fun. Mwah. I'll see you guys next week, 3 o'clock. Love and sparkles. Bye.